Good evening, everybody. My name is MRE. I will be using some notes and reading the questions from the post. So the first question is, what is the recent development in the evolution of multinational enterprises, and how does that development affect globalization? So when it comes to multinational enterprises, um, let's take for example, we're growing corn in the United States, and it's it's expensive, and there's a lot of competition domestically. Um, and what we're trying to do is we're spending a lot of money in the market. We're spending a lot of money in our businesses, so our shareholders are not getting a good return. So therefore, we have to go out to foreign countries. For example, in their soil, let's say they have great soil, they have great temperature, and they are one of the top companies that sell corn or sell the vegetables or sell the product that we want to sell to, or the product that we're selling. So what we do is we go to that country, we buy out companies that are already selling the product, or that have connections, that are basically in the same business that we're doing, and we can more or less either acquire their business, and therefore we can start selling our product in their country and expand. Um, that's a way to save money, make sure that our shareholders get a lot of money back. So the market is made up in the United States is made up of small companies. So therefore, what we're doing is we're pushing for them to. Sorry, it's my cat. What we're doing is, the United States is pushing for companies to go ahead and look into the foreign markets so that they can expand and make a profit. Again, another example is that in Japan, um, let's say when there was the car crisis in Detroit, and they weren't making a lot of cars, or the quality of the cars weren't so good, and they were expensive. So Japan went ahead and bought some companies down here, and they started selling their product, started making their product in the United States soil, and started selling it for a profit. And that's what I'm saying is good for globalization, because they're able to expand and open jobs, because that's what it did. It opened a lot of jobs. People were getting a lot of dividends back. So I think it's a great return. It's a great effect in globalization that they're doing this. So it's saying about MNEs trying to maximize profits. How could MNEs maximize profits and minimize profit volatility at the same time? So again, I just mentioned they maximize profit um, by going into a foreign country, and I have it here. I'm sorry. When countries are willing to risk, when it comes down to these big companies like let's say Florida Crystals, for example, they have research and development and other small businesses in different countries. And I go back to the same thing, is because they're able to make a bigger profit. They have more money to play with, so it's cheaper to conduct research and experiments in another country than in the United States. So therefore, these big companies, let's say for example, go to the Dominican Republic, and they're able to do research and development there because it's cheaper. They're able to expand their company, their name there, because it's cheaper, and that's how they make a profit. 20% of the U.S. international trade is done by smaller companies, and that's what I was saying earlier. United States is pushing for them to do that more. Um, Let me see. The Global Technology Network is made up by the U.S. government to help companies understand the global markets. I said that earlier. We have the licensing, we have joint ventures, we have. I wrote it down. Yeah, so another thing is when multinational enterprises are headquartered in one country but own and control manufacturing, R&D, and foreign soil. I mentioned that earlier. Large corporations, they have a lot of money, so they're able to play around with it. So MREs, they increase revenues by cutting costs, diversify to minimize risk, enter high growth markets, competition domestically, high growth potential like Brazil, India. So there is a website that allows you to see what's the potential of countries. So whenever they look at that and they're able to weigh out their options and the risk, they go to those countries to start developing, start businesses there because it has the potential to grow. So there's a potential to make more money. Um, Enter high stable income markets. High per capita translates to high consumption of product and sales and services. So if they has a high per capita, then they know that people are going to be spending money. So therefore they go there to sell their product and expand. When Henry Ford, when he was Ford vehicles and Europe smart markets was booming, he went ahead and bought small shops there in Europe and started selling Ford vehicles there, and that's how he was able to expand his name and his product in Europe. So they enter countries with monopolistic markets. So that means monopolistic markets. So when it's monopolistic, it means that they're able to monopolize, which means that there's less competition and less players. There's more field for them to play in. So when it comes down to that, is that they go to a small country where there's no competition, and whatever product they're selling, they expand there and they grow. So they're taking all the profit, and that's how the MREs are able to, they're able to expand their company, expand their product, and make money with less risk when they go to countries that, are cheaper to work in, and when they're able to license, when they're able to join ventures, join up with somebody to work with them once they're already there, they're able to franchise. These are the ways that they're able to, expand with less risk. Thank you for listening to my video, and I hope it was a good video. I'm sorry about my voice. I'm kind of sick.